Hi guys, Mike back again with another competition entry. This time it is for Dice Miniature Paint Guy, who is doing a competition about bases and basing your miniatures. I've got quite a lot of miniatures in these cabinets, and we're going to take a look at some of my varied basing techniques and some of my favourite bases. I really think basing your miniatures is really the cornerstone to a completed miniature. In my mind, a miniature is not finished until it's on a completed base. I've certainly had miniatures that I've painted up and think, look, you know, reasonable paint jobs, good paint jobs. I'm pleased with the miniature, but it's not really until you finish the base that they really come into their own and they give it personality and they give it context and they give it purpose almost. So I'm really into basing, and I think this is a really interesting competition idea. So let's look at some bases. Hi guys, okay, we're going to look at some bases. This is, like I said, for miniature Dice Miniature Paint Guy. Like I say, the link is below. So we're going to start off with looking at a couple of simple bases. These are miniatures Tartarus pattern Terminators that I painted a long time ago, actually. Probably when they first came out. These are extremely simple bases, and not great, to be fair, but there we go. So all these is your regular base included with the miniature, PVA'd with a bit of sand on. I don't think I've even done anything to this sand, it's just plain sand. And a few tufts basically glued on top. So I mean, it gives it finishes the miniature, it gives a base effect. But again, it's not the most inventive. It's not the most, I don't know, it could be better. That flocking's, yeah, questionable, like I say. But I mean, you develop your skills and your techniques as you go along. So there's so much more you can do with the flock and the gravel and the sand that you get, or that you can get for miniature basing. So that's an example of two very early miniatures that I might have based. I kind of evolved my Blood Angel army. A lot of my bases resin cast. I buy resin bases kind of after the fact, paint them up separately, and then glue the miniature to the base. And got some examples of that. So these are rocky type bases. These are from Dark Arts Miniatures. Really like these bases, this rocky effect. A lot of my Blood Angel army is based on these rocky bases, whether they are 25mm or 40mm. Or larger, depending on the size of the model. So again, more Terminators. The same principles apply to the smaller bases, but I thought I'd show you the bigger bases because it's easier to see. So yeah, we've got a rocky base. Again, really easy to paint, quite easy to get a decent effect where you, I prime the thing black and then start basically dry brushing it with greys and browns and creams and rock type colours. I mean, rocks come in all sorts of colours. They're not just grey, they're not just, you know, one colour. So, you know, you kind of pick out bits and decide where you want colours to be. I think I've washed in here a bit of green to kind of represent where water might have rested and has dried. So, yeah, no, I'm pleased with those. And again, same sort of thing. With this guy here, he's a sergeant, so he needs a more extreme base clearly. So he's coming off on this rocky outcrop. Same series of bases, same range. So we've got the rocky type base there. Again, resin cast. Then, there's another one. Got a librarian stood on this one. Again, that is the same base as that one. So they're the same, but on this one I've added some grass tufts just to give it a bit of a different look, and some leaves in the crevices, which I quite like doing. You know, you can buy some miniature leaves. So yeah, so there we go. A part of the same sort of range from Dark Arts Miniatures are these demolished bases where there's this kind of rock and broken wood and bits of metal. Again, I've put a load of leaves on this base. This is one of my Terminator Sergeants. So again, you know, just different effects. And again, I paint these bases separately and then glue the miniature on afterwards. So that's him. Then something a little bit different. Yeah, as you'll know, that I paint different ranges of miniatures. So looking at the Dead Man's Hand, again, these are just wooden bases, 25mm wooden round bases that you get with the miniatures. This is one of my cowboys, or one of my outlaws. And again, I use the cracked earth, Agrellan earth shade, I think the Citadel miniature version paint. So you paint it on and you let it dry, and it cracks, and then you can wash it and do whatever you want to give it whatever effect you like. And again, put some grass tufts on there, and just sort of running with the Dead Man's Hand theme. Got another couple here. So again, bit different, kind of rocky, sandy, you know, barren. That's the kind of look I was going for with my Dead Man's Hand stuff to match my board I was making. And we got this guy here. So again, use the Agrellan Earth shade and painted it after the fact, basically, and put some tufts on. So that's Jonathan Payne. I don't think I've shown you these guys. I don't think I've done a video on these, but anyway, that's Dead Man's Hand. Then we move into sci-fi bases. You'll know that I'm painting up some AVP miniatures. And again, these are bases. Where are they from? I don't even know where they're from. Where are they from? I don't know where these bases are from. These are sci-fi bases. If I remember or find out, and I'll put a thing at the bottom of the screen saying where these are from. I think these are from Micro Art Studios. No, I don't think they are, because I bought them online. I'm not sure where they're from. Don't know. I'll try and find out. So anyway, yes, sci-fi bases, like a sci-fi deck theme. So I've kind of weathered them up, rusted them out. This is my Alien Queen. So, you know, and again, paint the base first and then stick the miniature to it. And then one of my Predators. And again, I'm not sure if I've shown you these or not. Another similar type base with the alien blood type stuff there. So that's the Predator on the sci-fi bases. Then we kind of get into the realms of custom basing, trying to make bases or making bases for models that you want to be a bit more dynamic or a bit more interesting. I've got a big bag of bits. This is basically vehicle bits and a few bases and stuff. The pile just gets, you know, bigger over time. This is my life's collection of vehicle bits and bobs, basically, that are relatively useless. Can't really do much with them. So what I use them for is basing. So again, you've seen this guy before. One of my dreadnoughts. So you can see here that I've glued bits of old vehicle to the base. So there's a bit of Inferno cannon or something there, and some doors. And again, using flock, using grit and gravel, you can glue these bits of plastic onto the base, put gravel in, and then paint it up, weather it, and use it for your base. And again, I'd paint this first before gluing the miniature to it. But obviously you need to work out how your miniature is going to be standing on the base before you paint it and before you build your miniature, so you get a good cohesive, you know, your feet are sitting where you want them to sit on the base, clearly. So that's one. And this one's a little bit more over the top. So this is, again, 60mm base, just with loads of stuff stuck on it. Got a dozer blade and doors and all sorts of bits. And I wanted this this dreadnought kind of running up the ramp to hammer whoever he was going to jump onto when he jumps off this. This one's got detachable weapon option, so you can have the hammer or the sword. So yeah, and again, not really happy with the flocking on here. It's a bit too over the top. It doesn't look very good. But you know, in the context, it looks okay. You know, again, you learn through experience. You learn what you do. Some of my favourite bases are on the bigger models. I think you get more, I don't know, more scope on a bigger base. Although it is quite interesting to do small work design on a smaller base to try and make a small base look really dynamic and interesting. This is one of my Storm Raven gunships. I'll take him off, because we're just talking about bases, aren't we? And this is a base that's just been made up from bits, basically. Again, it's the base you get with the Storm Raven. I used a load of wall filler. This is wall filler on here, and kind of manipulated it to look like rock. Stuck a load of metal bits in it from my big bag of bits. Wrapped some miniature razor wire around the stem. Put some leaves in. Put some different types of flock in. Painted up the metal. Painted up the rock. Just weathered it up basically, so it looked like it was flying over a ruined or damaged craft, or something had been blown up out of the sky or something. So, you know, and again, in the context of the miniature, you know, you can sort of see the purpose of it. So that's that one. And then we're nearly there. I'm nearly 10 minutes on bases, but there we go. This is the Cerastus Knight, and again, I bought a nice base for this one. I wanted something a bit different, and again, this is wall filler. I used half of a Games Workshop crater. This is a crater, and then blended in the wall filler into the crater. Used gravel, grit, sand, etc. Used some tufts, painted it all up, weathered it. And again, it's just giving, oh, there we go, it's a shield in your face, sorry. It's giving it context, a bit of verdigris on bits down here, giving a base context, giving it a look that fits in with the theme of whatever you're painting. So that's about it. Although I will, just to give him a little bit more screen time, the Bloodthirster with his bloody blood base. And again, this was a little bit of an experiment. I quite like the Blood for the Blood God technical paint, which is what this is, mixed with water effect, ready-made water effect, and just basically filled a Games Workshop crater, two halves of a crater put together to make an actual crater, and then filled it up basically with Blood for the Blood God. So yeah, again, bought one of these nice, it's a taxidermy base. It's you know, for mounting taxidermy work on officially, but they're about the right size for a large miniature. So yeah, so they're all my bases. Lots of different basic techniques, but again, what I'm saying is keep your trying to keep your basing consistent through whatever you're doing. Like I said, my Blood Angel army has got quite consistent basing through it, so that, you know, you kind of keep a cohesive theme throughout your squad or throughout your army or whatever. I mean, you know, you do what you like, but I mean, this is just what I do. So you can kind of tell squads are connected to each other, and you can tell an army is connected to each other, or they're all in the same environment or whatever. But I tend to do it squad by squad, so the squad will be in the same environment, and I you know, paint them up as I go. So I'll paint a squad of 10 miniatures, for example, and decide where they're going to be. Are they going to be on a rocky? Are they going to be in a rocky type environment, or are they going to be in a sand type environment, or are they going to be in a chapel, or are they going to be somewhere else, or are they going to be on a sci-fi deck maybe, and then base them up in accordance with that. So that's it. This is a really long video. I didn't think I'd go for this long, but any questions, queries, comments, let me know. Head over to the link below and go and see Dice Miniature Paint Guy, because he's a great guy, and you know, he could always do with a few more subs. He's really interesting vids, and a top bloke to boot. So that's it for me for now, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.